shocking rap coming in from the Supreme Court on the SBI after it filed a plea that it wants to seek an extension till the 30th of June to file all the details of the electoral bonds. Now the Supreme Court has come down very heavily on the SBI. It has said, what have you done in the last 26 days? The Chief Justice of India, Chandrachud ji, has asked. He has also asked, what has the extent of matching have you done by now? What is your application silent on the status of what it is that has been done so far? Scathing observations which have been coming in by the Supreme Court. It has also said all you needed to do was unseal the envelope which the ECI was supposed to submit, collate the data and give it to the Supreme Court. Why is it taking you so much time? Let me go across to Shivani, who's joining us with more details of this. Shivani, the Chief Justice has been dictating the minute-by-minute updates, but it's critical for us to point out how critical the Supreme Court, especially the Chief Justice of India, has been about the delay on the part of the SBI, saying, what's taking you so long?
Meghna, this has been a very important and a very crucial hearing that has happened today, and the Supreme Court has dismissed the plea of the SBI to extend the dates to reveal the information about the purchasers of the electoral bonds. There were a lot of points that were put across by Harish Salve while he was saying that there is a big data that needs to be matched, but the Supreme Court has come down very heavily on SBI, and it has said that there is no question of extending the dates and you need to reveal all the information. It might be a cumbersome process, but what have you been doing in the last 26 days? And when the deadline was getting closed 2 days ahead of the deadline, the Supreme Court has also said that 2 days ahead of the deadline, the plea was filed by the SBI to extend the date till June 30th. So now this plea has been rejected. It has been dismissed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has also made a lot of observations while writing the order. The Supreme Court has said that by 12th, that is tomorrow, SBI must hand over all the details of the purchasers of the bonds along with the denominations that have been given in these electoral bonds, and the ECI, the Election Commission, has to put out all the details by 15th of March. So now in next 3 to 4 days, the Election Commission will be putting out all the details that the SBI will be giving it about these electoral bonds. Here Harish Salve had also said that this is a big number.
Sorry to interrupt you, there are some sound bites coming in.
SBI, because they have been insisting time and again that the info is quite extensive, and so it takes some time to collate the info. So how do you see that?
You see, it is, I just said it's laughable. See, you have a secret number on the bond. No, nobody says. They have said it is put it so that when the political party receives it, before that bank matches both. This is exactly solved, it's not a forged one. And this is the explanation given by the Finance Ministry as early as when it was dug out by a journalist that there is a secret number. So they came out with a PIB release saying that, clearly, this has been kept so there's no forge. So the point is there's no linking, it is known to you. And the political parties, out of the 29, though recently I dug out from my document because all the documents, there are only 19 in number parties, 19 number branches of State Bank of India of the total 29 which has sold election bond till today, 19. So हमें 29 को भी नहीं देखना. And it is 14 parties, 14.
Well, let me go across to Harish Nair. Harish, if you can tell us some of the operative parts and more importantly, what happens from here onwards. 15th of March is when the Election Commission will be publishing the electoral bonds, but there is another plea which is pending of contempt against the SBI. Tell us about that.
Yes, in fact, Meghna, as of now, the Chief Justice has made it very clear that as of now, no notice is being issued on the contempt plea. But the Supreme Court bench has clearly put the SBI on notice, saying that any violation of our judgment will be taken very seriously and action will follow. And as per the Supreme Court judgment, tomorrow is the deadline, new deadline fixed for the State Bank of India to furnish all details to the Election Commission of India. And Election Commission of India has been asked to upload all these details regarding all the electoral bonds purchased till date, name of the purchasers, denomination of the purchasers, who are the beneficiary political party. All these details, Meghna, has to be uploaded by the Election Commission of India by 5 p.m. March 15. That is the new deadline given. And the State Bank of India CMD, Chairman and Managing Director, has been asked to file a compliance affidavit in the Supreme Court after giving all the details to the Election Commission of India. And as you rightly said, Supreme Court had actually pulled up the State Bank of India seeking an extended deadline till June 30, asking, why have you come to court 2 days before the deadline? What were you doing for the last 26 days? And also tell us, your application is silent as to till now what steps you have done. There is no status as to what you have done till now. At least you should have mentioned that. And in fact, the Supreme Court found merit in the application filed by the Association of Democratic Reforms, argued by Prashant Bhushan. And Supreme Court, let me read out that why the Supreme Court did not give an extension of time. Supreme Court said that SBI can easily collate and submit details. SBI has the record of unique number allotted to each electoral bond and the KYC details of its purchaser. SBI is well aware of the identity of the purchasers of each of electoral bond. The relevant, in fact, the SBI maintains a secret number-based record of donors who buys bonds and the political parties they donate to. Since each electoral bond has a unique number, a simple query on the database can generate a report in a particular format. So, but as of now, when Harish Salve, appearing for the State Bank of India, said that cited certain complications, procedural difficulties, saying that details of the issuance of a bond, redemption of a bond, a list of beneficiaries, all are kept in separate silos, and that needs to be matched. Supreme Court said, as per our order, we have not asked for any matching of the details. Whatever details you have, give it to the Election Commission of India. Let the Election Commission of India publish on the website. And if you desire any longer,
Harish, sorry to interrupt you. I'll just come back. These are very important updates that you are getting us, what the verbal observations have been. But let me also bring in Swapnil Kothari, who's joining us, a lawyer. Swapnil Kothari, it seems that there are no more extensions which are going to be given to the SBI. End of the road. By tomorrow, they must now comply and submit its report so that the ECI can, by 15th of March, make everything public, which so far has been told would be kept secret.
Good afternoon, Meghna. Well, absolutely. I mean, if you do not furnish any progress since the past 26 days in your application, that, okay, so far we've made this progress, and that's the reason why we need more time up until the 30th of June, or say, for example, even May. You don't do that, then obviously the Supreme Court is not going to be inclined to just grant you a blanket extension without having any appropriate details in front of you. So the Supreme Court's question was absolutely right to Mr. Salve, that what have you done so far for the past 26 days? And then if there is no forthcoming answer, and if there are complications, and we have to match certain things which are in silos, separate silos, all of these are very ambiguous answers, and unless you put them down on an affidavit in a proper format that this is the progress that we've done, the Supreme Court is not going to be inclined. It may just consider this as some sort of a delaying tactic. So the Supreme Court has appropriately dismissed. It's more a procedural matter rather than any substantive issue here. So let me make that very clear for the viewers. So there is no harm done or anything of that sort. It's just a procedural aspect. The Supreme Court wants to put an end to this matter as fast as possible and say that, okay, 12th tomorrow 5 p.m., 15th 5 p.m. for the ECI, and let's close this out.
Yes, just a procedural issue that the Supreme Court wants to put an end to. But of course, with elections around the corner, a lot of politics has happened over that. We'll come to all of that in just a bit. But Vikas Singh is also joining us, the former ASG. I believe we've lost that connection there. We'll be going across to Vikas Singh and getting his inputs also, what he makes of the scathing observations which have been made. Since I did refer to the politics, let's get you some of the voices which are coming in. In fact, I believe we have that exact timeline which is available to us of what exactly the Chief Justice of India had said, the scathing observations that he had made when he rapped the SBI, saying, what were you doing for the last 26 days? Why did you come to the Supreme Court 2 days before your deadline was about to get over and say that you need an extension till the 30th of June. Listen in to what the Supreme Court said.
ECI, we direct that ECI shall compile the information and publish the details in its official website no later than by 7 days. 1 week. By 15 March, by 5 p.m. on 15 March 2024. In view of the above discussion, the miscellaneous application filed by SBI seeking an extension of time for the disclosure of details of the purchase and redemption of electoral bonds until 30 June 2024 is dismissed. Full stop. SBI is directed to disclose the details by the close of
State Bank's application for extension of time till 30th June to disclose details about the donors of electoral bonds as well as the parties which redeemed those electoral bonds. The court has dismissed the application of the State Bank, pointing out that the data that the court had asked them to give is already available with the State Bank. According to their own affidavit, they have to just submit the details of the donors on the one hand and the details of the parties which redeemed the bonds on the other hand. State Bank was saying we have to do the cross-matching, etc. Court has said you don't need to do the cross-matching, just give these details to the Election Commission and you have to give it by tomorrow. And thereafter they have said that the State Bank chairman.
There you have it, Prashant Bhushan, the advocate, but also joining us is Geeta Luthra, a noted lawyer. Geeta Luthra, what do you make of the kind of scathing words which were used by the CJI today against the SBI, saying, what were you doing for so long? You don't even need to collate it. All you need to do is unseal the envelope, collate, and submit the detail. Why the delay?
I think this is extremely welcome, frankly, because the State Bank can't be dragging its feet. It's a public sector bank. It knew that it had to have all the data with it. It knew that this data could be required in case of a judgment asking for disclosure. So, as the Chief Justice has said, that you don't need to be cross-matching. You just give the data. If there's anything incorrect or if any cross-check has not happened, then I think the Election Commission is equally capable of looking at it and asking the State Bank, any inaccuracies in its data. But there should be no inaccuracies. So I can't understand why they needed time, but they asked for time, and I can only appreciate that the court has upheld its majesty by asking the State Bank to comply. It's a public sector bank. It was nationalized, and it has a duty to the public, and I think that duty has to be discharged.
Geeta Luthra, I'd like your thoughts on this certain specific argumentation which was made by Harish Salve while he was representing the SBI. He had said when the donors brought out these electoral bonds, they were given a legal guarantee that their names would not be disclosed. So we have to be very careful while we put out the details, put out such sensitive information which is supposed to be anonymous. Does that cut ice with you, Geeta Luthra?
So that could have possibly cut ice if you were representing the donors. It's not. It doesn't cut ice when it is by the SBI, which knew all along that this Supreme Court matter was pending and then was decided, and therefore, I don't think that they can say this. Whatever may be the consequence of any private donor thereafter suing them that this was supposed to be secret and we don't want it to be made public.
Right.
If that ever happens, well, that's a different issue and a different legal argument by a third party.
Which you
But
think
it's
need not worry the SBI?
Absolutely. It doesn't stand when the Supreme Court of India has
Absolutely.
directed them.
Well, thank you so much, Geeta Luthra, for breaking that down for us and explaining it. Meanwhile, as we were discussing,